Hello, buddy. Hello, buddy. All right. Welcome to the Mikestand. Today is Monday, June the 30th. So we are now about halfway through the year. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day today. Um, so, as you guys noticed too, I don't know if you noticed this last night when I was on, I got a haircut. For those of you who are interested in that. So now, now I have, my hair and beard are gone. So, but with that, of course, we're going to give people a chance to come in. Look like we got, so I might actually get going here. So I guess I'll just go ahead because we do have three people here now, so I'll go ahead and start. So first off, as always, if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. It'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. With that being said, here's what's on tap for tonight. We're going to, of course, be focusing in on some articles from MeTV Tunes, talk about the Flintstones family tree, as well as how June Foray ended up being an official enemy of Richard Nixon. So we're going to look at that. And then also, MeTV Tunes made a recent announcement that they're actually becoming part of DirecTV as well. So for those of you who have DirecTV, now you'll be able to get MeTV Tunes, a classic cartoon channel as well. Plus, of course, we'll look back over the weekend, look back at, of course, Friday night SmackDown as well as Saturday night's Night of Champions. We'll and then we'll look ahead to probably we'll look ahead to tonight's Raw, coming off of Night of Champions, as well as maybe even look ahead to next weekend's Saturday night's main event and Evolution pay per views, as they have apparently they have announced some matches, I believe, for Evolution already, the all female pay per view. Plus, we'll of course wrap things up with this day in each history on this last day of June 2025, as we are now about halfway through the year. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started here. Let me go grab the first article we'll be going over here. And again, as I said, if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we get some more friendly people in here to engage. It'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with all that being said, let's get going here. The Flintstones Family Tree, a guide to the extended modern Stone Age family. Article published on June 26, 2025, which I believe was last Thursday by MeTV Doing staff. So let's get into this. So, meet the Flintstones, all the Flintstones. Fred and Wilma and Little Pebbles too. But there are even more Flintstone family members throughout the Flintstones universe. Let's take a look at all the cave cousins, aunts, uncles, and honorary Flintstones too. Rock Bottom, Rocky Flintstone. Rocky is Fred's paternal grandfather, paternal meaning from his father's side, and a flying ace jet fighter from Stone World War One. He appears in the final episode of the Flintstones, where he visits Bedrock, and Fred tells everybody the story of Rocky's Raiders. Look at that. With the white mustache and white hair and all that. He is a spitting image of Fred, isn't he? Look at that, everybody. Hmm. See. 2. Ed and Edna Flintstone. Fred's parents, who we met and saw quite a bit of in the Flintstone Kids. So Ed and Edna are Fred's parents, who only appear in the comic strips and the Flintstone Kids. They were both voiced by Henry Corden, who also took over the role of Fred after Alan Reed's passing. Henry Corden, who also, of course, did Pa Rugg, among other Hanna-Barbera characters and cartoons. Ricky Slaghoople. Wilma's mother, Pearl Slaghoople, appears many times in the Flintstones, but Wilma's father, Ricky Slaghoople, only appears in the Flintstone Kids. You see him right there, the glasses and all that. And as we all know, Pearl was a constant pain in Fred's rear, obviously. Ricky is, of course, that's Wilma's father, so that would make him Fred's father-in-law. Mika and Mickey Slaghoople. The Flintstone Kids also featured Wilma's 2 younger sisters, Mika and Mickey. So, obviously, Fred's sisters-in-law. Stony Flintstone. Stony, who was adopted by the Flintstones in I believe it was the 1994 Flintstone Christmas special, but let's see now. Flintstone Family Christmas, yeah. Stony is a troubled foster youth who Fred and Wilma take in for the holidays in A Flintstone Family Christmas. While Stony is a troublemaker, Fred sees the good in him, and the Flintstones adopt him. Roxy and Chip Rubble. Roxy, the one with the white hair, and Chip, the one with the red hair, are Pebbles and Bam Bam's twins. They are born in the special Holly Rockabye Baby and appear in A Flintstones Family Christmas with Stony. Of course, Roxy and Chip are they're twin children of Pebbles and Bam Bam. Uncle Giggles Flintstone. He's wearing it looks like he's wearing a barrel there. Now it's time for some more extended members of Fred's side of the family. Fred's extended family is very wealthy. This is Uncle Giggles, brother of Ed and uncle of Fred. In the episode A Haunted House is Not a Home, quote unquote, Giggles fakes his own death and tests Fred's worthiness as an heir by playing a series of spooky pranks on him. It remains unclear if Giggles ever actually left Fred his estate. Tex Hard Rock. Now on to Fred's mother's side of the family, the Hard Rocks, who are based out of Texarock. In other words, the Flintstones version of Texas, basically. Tex Hard Rock is Fred's uncle and appears in 2 episodes, Baby Barney and Deep in the Heart of Texarock. He is a proper cowboy and rancher and usually needs Fred's help with Cowosaurus thieves. He also makes appearances in the Pebbles and Bam Bam show and the special I Yabba Dabba Doo. I Yabba Dabba Doo, that was basically the wedding special in which um, Pebbles and Bam Bam, grown up, got married. I don't know if she was still doing it at that point, but I know for a while there, Sally Struthers of All in the Family fame actually was providing the voice of Pebbles. And I don't know if she was still doing it by this point, but I do remember Sally Struthers did it for the Pebbles and Bam Bam show. Mary Lou, Jim, and Tumbleweed Hard Rock. Mary Lou, Jim, and Tumbleweed are Tex Hard Rock's children and Fred's cousins. They are obnoxious and brag about being obscenely wealthy all the time, even when visiting Bedrock in the episode Droop Along Flintstone. Zeke Flintstone. The late Zeke is Rock Bottom's uncle, making him Fred's great great uncle. He passed away at the beginning of the episode The Bedrock Hillbillies. And as the last of the Arkenstone Flintstones, he bequeathed his San Clemente estate to Fred. Unbeknownst to Fred, he also inherited Zeke's feud with the Hat Rock family. Taking us all back to the Hatfields and McCoys, right? Watch the Flintstones on MeTV Tunes every day at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central, 5:30 Pacific. Wow, that was it. I mean, I thought that would have been even more, but but anyways, that's still a pretty good story set up there. All right, so let's get ready to move on to the next article then here. Again, a friendly reminder, if you guys haven't already, you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, moving on to the next one here. Let's see what this one's all about here. How June Foray became an official enemy of Richard Nixon. One night, say they had a beef over beef. Oh boy. June 20, published on June 27th, 2025, which of course is Friday, I believe, by MeTV Toon staff. All right, so let's see what exactly happened here. June Foray, beloved voice actress, on characters like Jokey Smurf from the Smurfs and Looney Tunes Granny, was on Richard Nixon's official list of enemies. In an interview with the Television Academy, Foray discussed how she landed on the list. A friend, a friend of mine called, and I had read it in the paper that some woman in either Connecticut or Massachusetts was boycotting meat because meat prices were so high. So she said, quote, why don't we start it? So I thought, well, why not? Because I'm not much of a meat eater anyway. Unquote. The boycott was in response to a series of economic measures called the Nixon shock, which included price freezes on goods, while the Nixon shock was meant to fight inflation. It was ultimately unsuccessful in preventing the 1973 recession. Foray and her friends founded an organization called Fight Inflation Together, also known as FIT, F-I-T. Individuals and groups pledged to FIT that they would abstain from meat every Tuesday and Thursday, kind of in light of the Meatless Tuesdays thing they did back in World War II. And I know there have been a few cartoons about that too, where they did highlight, So I guess during World War II, there was like, as a way to help the war effort, they'd have meatless Tuesdays where people would abstain from eating meat that day, all in order to help the war effort to basically help supply the soldiers with more meat to eat, keep up the protein and all that. All right. So, anyways, in addition to the entire first week of every month, at the time of the boycott, Foray interviewed with the South Bend Tribune about the boycott's success. Quote, "Our phone couldn't stop ringing. It's sweeping the country. People all over the country tell us they've been wanting to do something and don't know how." Foray doubled down that the organization and boycott were non-political. The only goal was to bring down meat prices. Within the first month of the boycott, they received 3,000 pledges and started clubs in 40 different cities. To help bring awareness to the cause, Foray posted for photos with all of the letters FIT was receiving from supporters. While the boycott was not directed at Richard Nixon at all, Foray received a call from Michael Jackson. No, not that Michael Jackson. In other words, not. First off, Michael Jackson would have probably barely been born during Nick, the one that we all assume they're talking about, the pop icon. He might have been a very young child at this point, but there's Michael Jackson, just like my name, Mike Walters, is a pretty common name. So but the talk show host, whose show Foray appeared on, Jackson received harassing calls about Foray's appearance on his show and gave her a heads up about it. Then Foray started receiving relentless calls starting at midnight and then lasting until 7 o'clock. After weeks of phone call harassment, Foray received a call telling her that Richard Nixon had put a cap on meat prices. Would Foray and FIT still continue with the boycott? Yes, replied Foray. Quote, "That's when all hell broke loose," unquote. Foray said, quote, I was called to Washington, D.C. to testify before the Joint Economic Committee, which I did. Thousands of people showed up. We got fan letters and calls. Nixon was furious, unquote. Following Foray's testimony at Congress and the media frenzy around it, Nixon put Foray on his famous enemies list, which included congressmen, business people, attorneys, and also other entertainment figures like Paul Newman, Jane Fonda, and Barbara Streisand. Quote, well, Foray later, quote unquote, Foray later recalled, quote, Nixon didn't like anyone who opposed him, unquote. Now that she was on the enemies list, Foray was audited by the IRS for 10 years, but when asked if it affected her career, Foray said, quote, no, well, I think I did some commercials for one of the hamburger places, and I didn't work for them again, but that didn't make any difference, unquote. Watch Bugs Bunny and Friends on MeTV Tunes weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific, and Sunday at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific. Alrighty then, so there we go with that. Let me see. Hey, Fitzjozo. Thanks for popping in. All right, so another friendly reminder to everybody, of course, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. I do need to step away from the computer for a moment, though, as soon as I get everything set up for the next article we'll be reading here. But I will be right back. And the last one we'll be doing will be this one. MeTV Tunes is now available on DirecTV. All right, so I will be right back. I'm going to put some music on to entertain you guys while I'm gone. All right, I'm back. So hopefully, here's something of interest for everybody, of course. Let's see now. For those of you who, of course, who like classic cartoons like I do, now you have another option to catch MeTV Toons, the classic cartoon channel. So, according to them here, MeTV Toons is now available on DirecTV. We are so excited to bring classic cartoons to DirecTV viewers. So if you have DirecTV and you've been waiting for the chance to watch classic cartoons like Bugs Bunny, Popeye, Tom and Jerry, Woody Woodpecker, Betty Boop, all those great characters and all that, Mr. Magoo, then MeTV Toons is the channel for you. Article posted June 30th, which is today. Exciting news. MeTV Toons fans. DirecTV subscribers can now watch MeTV Toons on channel 295. Our classic cartoon network is joining DirecTV streaming and satellite services for choice and above customers, as well as inside DirecTV's new genre packs. Quote, viewers have fallen in love with MeTV Toons, which in just its first year has attracted a passionate and loyal audience, unquote, said Neil Sabin, vice chairman of Weagle Broadcasting Company, based out of Chicago. Quote, it is exciting to further extend the network's national reach with its broad multi-generational appeal. We know MeTV Toons will bring incredible entertainment and joy to DirecTV subscribers around the country, unquote. Quote, based on early fan response, unquote, said Linda Burakoff, Senior Vice President, Content and Programming at DirecTV. Quote, we know there are many customers who've been very anxious to see MeTV Toons, so we are very pleased to make it available to our streaming, satellite, and genre pack subscribers, unquote. We are so excited to bring classic cartoons to DirecTV viewers. Alrighty then. So exactly when that happens, they don't say here, but it's something to look forward to if you're a fan of classic cartoons. Alright, so let's see. So we're coming up on 30 minutes here. So now what we'll do, we'll move on to, of course, we'll move on to the wrestling wrap up here, as we will be looking back to over the weekends, back to Friday Night SmackDown, the Night of Champions coming, and then we'll look ahead to the night's Raw. Now, of course, Friday Night SmackDown, they did have some technical issues to where they had to make some edits for the American audience, of course. But let's go ahead and okay, so let's talk about what happened on Friday Night SmackDown. The, of course, go home SmackDown right before the following night's Night of Champions event, happening from the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, with, of course, Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on commentary on the USA Network. The night opened up with JC Mateo defeating Jimmy Uso, with Solo Sikoa in the corner there, dropping JC Mateo with his around the world power slam. And In a match for the Women's United States title, Julia became the new champion by defeating Zelina Vega. As WWE has big plans for Julia, has proven to be a top star elsewhere, like from both Stardom in Japan and Marigold. Now she's looking to become a big star in America. We already know she's already been the NXT Women's North American and NXT champion. Now they've got her up on the main brand as the Women's United States champion. In tag team action, Andrade and Rey Fenix defeated the DIY duo of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. In a match for the WWE tag team titles, the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, retained over the Wyatt Six duo of Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy, as the match went to a no contest, as there was interference from just about everybody. Wyatt, of course, they had Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross, and Uncle Howdy on the outside, but also you had interference with just about every active tag team on the roster, including, of course, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, Los Garzas, who recently won the AAA World Tag Team Champions down in Mexico a couple weeks ago. So just about the whole tag team roster got involved in this match and ended up in a no contest. And the main event saw in a last woman standing match for the WWE Women's title, Tiffany Stratton retained over Nia Jax with some help from Naomi. Now, Naomi also had interrupted a segment earlier in the night between the two women's finalists for the Queen of the Ring tournament, which did not sit well with either Jade Cargill or Asuka. Jade Cargill, of course, the issues between her and Naomi are well documented. Naomi was the one who took her out of action for a few months. And Asuka was not too happy, as much in the same vein as Io Sky recently. Kind of felt a little disrespected when the focus was on them and not on her. Basically, it's almost like, once again, with the Japanese women, they seem to ignore the Japanese woman for some reason, and Io Sky didn't take too kindly to it, and nor does Asuka here. The Empress of Tomorrow will not be ignored. So that's all that went down on Friday in the lead up to the following days. Night of Champions, which we'll now, of course, talk about as soon as I get to that. As on Saturday, WWE held its Night of Champions from the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It was on Netflix. With Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on commentary. The opening match saw Cody Rhodes defeat Randy Orton in the finals of the King of Ring tournament. In a match in which it saw possible seeds being dropped at the possibility of Randy Orton turn heel, albeit there's a lot of people out there saying that may not be a good idea for the WWE to try this, as Randy Orton is just at the point in his career that people just won't boo him no matter what he does. he'd have to do something real nasty, real dark to get fans to boo him at this point in his career. In a Riyadh Boulevard street fight, Rhea Ripley defeated Raquel Rodriguez. I believe executing a riptide and off the ropes. In a singles match that was set up this past week, Sami Zayn defeated Karrion Kross in the singles match, which has a lot of fans up in arms, as it were, as a lot of fans believe that Karrion Kross should have got over in that. He's been getting over organically, and the WWE just seems to be ignoring, some of the higher ups in WWE just seem to be ignoring that. Then in the match for the United States title, Solo Sikoa, with the help of the debuting Hikuleo, who's now being called Tala Tonga, defeated Jacob Fatu in what is promising with the returns of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, as well as JC Mateo. Basically, this new Bloodline version 3.0 now is making waves. In the Queen of the Ring finals match, Jade Cargill defeating Asuka, with a lot of people criticizing that move as well, that Jade may not be ready for that position. And then in the main event, saw John Cena retain the undisputed WWE title over CM Punk, as Seth Rollins and his crew were looking to interfere in that match. It looked like at times Seth Rollins was looking to try to maybe cash in his Money in the Bank suitcase for that match. So that's all that happened over the weekend. Now, in looking ahead to tonight's Monday Night Raw, coming off of the, of course, now it's also been reported that John Cena will probably be taking a couple weeks off here. His next scheduled appearance on TV will not be until July 18th, which would be 2 weeks from this Friday. People are believing that this time he's taking off is just because they're going to be promoting the upcoming, of course, Saturday Night's Main Event and Evolution pay-per-views. So that's going to be where the focus is. So, but now, as last night's Raw took place from Pittsburgh. So tonight's Raw will be taking place from the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It will be on Netflix. And already announced for the evening, Penta will be teaming with Sami Zayn to take on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Paul Heyman in the corner. In a battle of two big men and two former allies in the United Nations faction from a few years ago, Sheamus, the Celtic Warrior, will be taking on Rusev. In a match for the WWE Tag Team titles, the New Day, the current champions of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, will be taking on the former champions, the Judgment Day duo of Finn Balor and JD McDonough. So that's all that's going down tonight. Now to look ahead to the upcoming, of course. Let's see. I do know, as I said, they've announced some more matches for Evolution, but we'll also take a look at Saturday Night's Main Event, what they have planned for Saturday Night's Main Event. Saturday Night's Main Event, which of course will come from the State Farms Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, will air on NBC next Saturday night. Still, the only match announced for that will be Gunther defending the WWE World Heavyweight title against Goldberg. and Goldberg's retirement match. And let's see. I do know that I did hear they did announce some matches for the Evolution pay per view. Coming up next Sunday, the 13th, which will also be in the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, on Netflix. But still, the only match they have listed here from Cage Match will be JC Jane versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's title. Now, it has been talked about that it's possible that Rhea Ripley will be taking on Io Sky for the WWE Women's World title. And there's also talk that it's possible that Roxanne Perez, who will be filling in for Liv Morgan for a while, and Raquel Rodriguez will actually be defending the women's tag team titles against in a three-way match. But there's also some rumors that, of course, well, it's still believed that the Bella twins might be involved in Evolution as well as Trish Stratus, but those are not confirmed. So that's all we got for you for the wrestling wrap up. So now what I think we'll do is we will take a look back at, well, with today being of course Monday, June 30th, 2025. Why don't we go ahead and take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history? So all right. So with that being said, first off, I would actually like to wish a happy 40th birthday. So this coming 2 days after his King of the Ring victory, of course. Talk about a nice birthday present, right? Cody Rhodes turns 40 today. So happy 40th birthday to Cody Rhodes, born, of course, Cody Garrett Runnels on this date back in 1985. So happy 40th birthday to Cody Rhodes. Now I'm getting ready to move ahead. Oops. Moving ahead to the year 1999. On this date in the year 1999, hey Metal, I see you there. Thanks for popping in. If you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. I'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. So with that, as we continue on here, the first, on this date back in 1999, which was 26 years ago today, the first issue of Alter Ego from Tomorrow's Publishing went on sale on newsstands on this date back in 1999. Roy Thomas was the editor there. The book sold for $5.95. It was 80 pages. From the looks of it, looks like it was a comic that was designed to kind of go off of the Golden Age feel, as it were. So on this date, 26 years ago today, the first issue of Alter Ego from Tomorrow's Publishing went on sale on this date back in 1999. So now, moving ahead to the year, moving ahead to the year 2000. Oh. I just learned of Jim Shooter's passing before hopping in the chat. Oh yeah, I think he did pass. I think I saw a headline on that too the other day. Yeah. So anyway, well, with that, maybe we can, maybe I'll if I see any articles on it tomorrow, maybe I'll point them out. Um, but anyways, getting back to him shooter died. Oh, farewell then. Hmm. All right. So, anyways, now moving ahead to the year 2020. On this date in the year 2020, the digital release of Cartoon Network Studios' We Bare Bears, the movie, was released on this date back in 2020. So 5 years ago today, Cartoon Network Studios' We Bare Bears, the movie, was released digitally on this date 5 years ago today. So, and now, finally, on this date in the year 2021, 4 years ago today, on this date 40 years ago today in 2021, um, final episode of Connect OVA Strike the Blood 4 premiered on this date. So the Connect OVA Strike the Blood 4 concluded its releases on this date back in 2021, four years ago today. So with that being said, of course, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Hope everybody had enjoyed the show. And we, of course, this Sunday I'll have Rick Piper joining me. We'll be continuing our look through June of 1940. They went on sale in June of 1940. We'll be focusing in on Marvel Comics this Sunday. And with that being said, I thank everybody for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.